it's just such a unusual situation because last week we started the week, he was sore, but then it got worse as the week went on. That's kind of why we found ourselves in a position that we weren't really thinking we were going to be in. And he's normally, anytime he's been banged up or some kind of injury, he's always progressed positively. That's why we thought we'd probably get the same thing. That didn't happen. That's why we waited to the last minute, and then that's where we're at right now. And we'll see how this week goes. And I'll know more when I can see him throw again.
Is there an ideal day of the week where you were like, I'd like to have my starting quarterback known by this day?
No, I'm fine either way. Those two guys know they know the offense. The fact that we're playing Detroit, which is going to be more of, it's like New England for us, very close. So it's not like we're playing a scheme that we don't know or we haven't seen before. So both those guys are well. They understand what they're playing. They understand the scheme they're playing.
Do you feel there's a chance this is a long-term thing?
I'm not sure. I really don't know. I don't know the answer. It's day to day, and it's really going to be about how he feels. We can be told, by the doctors, trainers, hey, this is what we think is going to happen. But he's been one of those guys that's been opposite of what you're being told. He can say I'm good or I'm not good. So this was the first time where we were being told one thing as far as, hey, this is kind of unusual that he's going the other way, and then him actually agreeing that he didn't feel right. Normally he'll try to go opposite of what they tell him.
But you have complete confidence he'll play again in 2018?
Yes.
Do you have more tests planned?
Well, it's really about rest more than anything right now.
That's how he feels.
Basically.
What would another week of rest, of not playing, maybe do for him?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like there's unknown for us. It's literally day to day. Like he might wake up on Wednesday and feel great, and then go out and throw and feel good. And then it's going to be about how does he feel the next day.
If, when he's healthy,
yes, he'll be the starter.
Start again.
Yes. You didn't think I was going to anticipate that like that?
No, I know, we told you.
Does the way Brock plays in the meantime buy you time with Ryan as opposed to maybe having to have him play through the injury?
I want him to be healthy. I want him to be right. I don't want him to put himself in a situation where he goes to do something and it's not there. Like if he needs to throw a ball a certain way and he can't juice it up the way he thinks he can, and then you throw a ball that it doesn't come out right. That was my biggest thing going into this game of, can you make the throws the way you want to make them? And that was where we were having a lot of discussion, and he was too. That was his same concern of what if I can't throw it the way I want to.
We saw he got a little banged up in the Raiders game too. Did that affect him at all the 2 weeks that followed, or no?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was that one that we had in the Cincinnati game where it was a sack fumble. That was kind of unusual, the way he got hit and the way he went to the ground.
Is it more velocity or arm strength, I guess, that you're trying to?
It's the same thing. That it's really how the tempo of the ball coming out and the way that he wants to throw it. It's hard to explain. You have to see it.
How'd your offensive line do it? How did they turn things around so much from how things looked against the Patriots and the Bengals to a pretty clean pocket, I think, yesterday?
We were pretty clean in the Cincinnati game until the fourth quarter, and then having Laramie out there makes a big difference. And our guys did a good job of executing what we talked about doing. We put a lot on the receivers to get open. We didn't really do a lot of stuff where the tight end was getting out and the backs are getting out. It can be risky to do. They start dropping a lot of guys, or they start getting home on a four-man rush where we're using up the tight ends and the backs. But we did a good job of executing it for the most part. And when Mac went to the other side and went against Laramie, that was really what we were hoping to force, so we could put then that allowed us to kind of do some different stuff.
What impressed you the most about Brock's performance yesterday?
I think really just he did a good job of not panicking when we were down and things didn't, we have a couple interceptions. He did a good job moving on to the next series. He's been around for a minute. He doesn't hold on to things and let it affect the next series.
Adam, can you talk about the two-point conversion play? And I'm wondering whether you go into a game with one play in mind for a two-point conversion, or is there a series that you choose from at that moment, that, depending on the circumstances?
No, I think the way that since that's been in, we've always made sure we just have enough plays just in case you get in one of those weird games where you have to go on it, go multiple times, 3 or 4 times. You just gotta have some options, and we work on them a lot. We walk through them every week, or we rep a couple in practice. You try not to do it too much in practice, because the scout team starts to figure out what you're doing, and they start ruining your feel for the play. So what happened in the game was the first time I've ever seen that actually happen, where we lost 2 of our primary guys, and because of Mac just blew the whole thing up. And I'm just glad Kenny has never caught that ball, never got it thrown to him, but he did exactly what he was supposed to do and kept playing, and Brock did a good job staying on the move.
Can you tell us what happened to Charles Harris?
We were last play of practice on Friday. So, we just got to see. I don't know how long it's going to be. We just need to be smart with what we do with them. I know the trainers are on it. Strength staff will be on it with them. We've talked to him about not putting himself in a bad position by trying to push, coming back. We just need to be, smart with how we get him back.
More of a day-to-day or week-to-week deal with him?
It's probably week to week. Like, we'll know probably more Wednesday, and then we'll at least have an idea if we have a shot or not.
How much of Andre Branch playing yesterday, we know he's been dealing with a knee injury, was that he was totally ready to go, or
he was ready. He was ready.
It seemed like he was probably still playing through some pain.
I'm sure he is, but he didn't say that to me. He let me know early in the week that he was ready, and he felt great. And it was good timing for us, because we were low on numbers, and then we were lower on numbers as the game went on. So that group battled. That was not an easy deal for them to go. I mean, you can see how the other team was as far as their front. They were tired. It was hot, and we were low on numbers, and those guys just kept fighting.
Yeah, you guys obviously you did look to build 9-man rotation on the defensive line. Now you got like 4 of them left. What's that been like?
It's been interesting. Chris has done a great job, though. That group's tight, and those guys are doing it for each other. And they talk the whole game of just like the encouragement on that side of the ball it's awesome to listen to, because those guys they try to make sure that they keep that rotation going and just keep fighting. And it's not always perfect, but those guys are doing everything they can to just help us win a game. And whatever the numbers are, whatever the stats are, like, we really don't care. It's about getting the win.
How much do you think your relationship with Brock in Denver helped you Sunday?
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, he knew exactly what I was trying to do from Wednesday on. And he's been like that his whole career. He's always ready to go. He never was one of those guys that kind of prepared saying, well, I'm never gonna, like, he played behind a guy that just never came out. It didn't matter if we were winning by 50. He wasn't coming out. He did that enough in Indy where he didn't play the fourth quarter. He'd like to play. It's like, I'm playing unless there's 2 minutes left and we're up by 35, then I ain't coming out. So, he had to watch a lot, and it was pretty cool to be able to call a game with him finally after all those years.
And you guys, 8 of 17 on third downs. How much did Frank Gore's carries on first downs contribute to that 8 of 17?
I mean, it makes a big difference. We had more 3rd and 6 or less, and he was running hard and doing a great job of keeping us ahead of the sticks. I think both those guys did. They were playing physical. Thought the line did a good job of just prying a few things open. We were downhill yesterday, and that's Frank's game. You know, we get a couple gap schemes in there, and he hits a couple of those built holes, and he breaks tackles. I mean, the way he runs through arm tackles is impressive.
How much of a load can he carry going for you? 15 carries yesterday, that's...
Well, we'll see. Every game's different. You know, it's good to see both those guys pretty balanced, and we kind of had the same amount of carries. And, you know, I think the more we can keep it like that, the better.
If you had known going in that you'd have 541 yards of offense and 31 points against maybe the best defense in football with your backup, you would have said what?
Well, I mean, I'm messed up enough to think that's what it's going to be every week. So.
With Albert Wilson, what goes through your mind when you see him in the open field?
Well, any time that we can get him the ball and he has just a little bit of space, that's what is a possibility of happening. It might be 6 yards, but it might be 60. You know, he's a strong runner when he gets the ball in his hands. It's hard for guys to tackle him because he's built like a running back, but he's a wide receiver. He can run all the routes and do all those things. He can get in the backfield and run the ball, and he's tough, physical, and he's fast. I know that.
As an organizational standpoint, having guys like Frank, Albert, Danny, and Brock, all off-season acquisitions, have such a big role in that game yesterday. How big is that for the rest of the season, knowing that those guys can contribute as much as they do?
Well, I think it's nice that we added guys that we felt fit into that group that we had, that we've been, whether the guys that were here that are still around that we like on this team, and whether it's guys we drafted, and whether it's free agents that have come along the last 3 years. You know, I like how all these guys fit, you know, the pieces fit together, and if we can just stay healthy, you know, not lose too many more guys the rest of the way out, that would be ideal, because it feels like every week we lose somebody. And the good thing is a lot of guys are stepping up and making the most of it.
Any projection on Devontae Parker
As far as
being available this week?
yeah, I mean, we'll go through the week and see. I mean, it was. I know he was trying to get going as much as he can. I think it's just one of those. It's just nagging, you know. It's just hard for him to really burst the way I think he wants to. So we'll just keep an eye on that.
If you have him, is it difficult at this point in the season to work him into a group of receivers that's already playing pretty well?
I don't think so. I think when you have, like technically what we call 80 plays, but I don't know how many was recorded as real plays. You know, there's enough out there for all those guys. I know there was a couple of points of the game where I saw some guys looking to the sideline like, hey, I need one real quick, because you start running like that and you get some big plays and you're taking some shots, it'll fatigue you. You know, when you have 5 guys that you trust that you can put out there, that's a good problem to have.
With Devontae, then the snap count is that a reflection of his health?
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of spot playing. You know, Jakeem got banged up pretty good in that Cincinnati game. You know, there was a little bit of concern of if he got hit just right, if he came out, we were down to 3, and we knew this was going to be one of those games we needed some help on that side, that group.
Yesterday you had Brock play well, you had Albert play well, Frank Gore, Kiko Alonso. Occasionally you've been right about things that the media has been wrong about. It's not frequent, but
Oh my God. I probably
which of
should
those
is high.
would you most like to gloat about right now?
All right, Kiko. He's been outstanding this year. It's been fun to watch him, the way we spoke about how we wanted to create turnovers and how we wanted to fly to the ball and, you know, really attack the ball carriers and get the ball out. I mean, the last 2 weeks have been huge plays for us at critical times. You know, picking that ball off against Cincinnati, you know, that was a great job. I mean, he saw that ball thrown, he turned, he ran, and the ball gets tipped up, he's there to make a play. A lot of guys don't do that. They just turn to see what happens. And then this last game, gets the ball out at the right time. You know, he's one of those guys in there. And I think he's setting the tempo for the rest of those guys. He's making smart plays. There's some things that nobody notices that he does, that whether he switches kind of something in the call to where he does somebody else's job and they have to do his because he sees something coming, it's hard to explain it to people, some of the things that he's doing that's really outside the box that if he doesn't do, we're probably in trouble.
All right, thanks, guys.